International. I traveled extensively before I got into the retail business. I was a wholesaler for a manufacturer, so-called a manufacturer's rep. In other words, I represented manufacturers, clothing manufacturers, the labels that you see on the back. I represented those, some of those lingerie companies, some key lingerie companies that you see their labels even now today in the department stores, specialty stores. I traveled the whole Midwest, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, the Upper Peninsula. Flew to New York 5 times a year for over 25 years. Flew to California, flew to Dallas. In the 80s, I flew to Hong Kong and China. It was interesting. It was a different way of life. There was good money in it. You did well. But you're away from home. I was away from my daughter 5 nights a week, 4 nights a week. But there were times in July I'd have 3 weeks off straight, or in December I'd have 3 weeks off straight and just spend all that time with my daughter. When she was younger, she didn't have to go to daycare. We were fortunate enough to place her in private schools, so she received a real nice quality education, and it paid off. I hit all the major cities and all the small cities. I was basically a small account rep. I did have major accounts in 2, 3, 4 department store chains. I had one department store chain. She had like 22 stores. I even sold Target a couple of times. Those are good size orders. Yeah. Hit the major cities. I lived out of Chicago. My base was in Chicago. For a while I lived in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I rented a house up because I was there so much in the Twin Cities. I rented a house for 12 years. Just a small little house, and I shared it with a couple of other people, so it wasn't all that expensive for me. I just went up there, spent a week every 3 months. So I really didn't need a fancy place, or just a place to cook my meals and sleep. Just did some work in my display window, so I'm sweating. Cleaned the inside of the display window, changed the mannequins. I would travel down to Kentucky, Louisville, Lexington. Sales on the road, international. See, the stores that you purchase your merchandise from, they buy it from a manufacturer or a manufacturer's rep or a designated person that works for that particular manufacturer. Every industry has that, whether it be Levi or the small line, cosmetics, all the way up to the name brand. There's always a key salesperson that works with a key account. You can't have what's called key account men or women, and they'll work with the key accounts, whether it be Walmart, Target, Kmart, Sears, Macy's. There's key account men that work with these accounts, all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast. Very hard to get a key account, but if you're fortunate enough, I sold Kohl's. Kohl's had some nice orders. I sold Kohl's when it was just a small 12-store operation. It's grown a lot since. But once you start selling a key account like that, a major account, the manufacturers have to keep cutting the price and to keep the account, and the account keeps grinding the manufacturer, and then another piece of your commission's gone, and another piece, and another piece, and another piece, and finally they decide that they don't need you as a salesperson anymore for that particular account. It's the nature of the beast. That's why I got out of the wholesale business. It's just, you know, and it pretty much died. After Walmart came into the game, the wholesale business totally changed. When Walmart first started, you basically had the right when Walmart started to gain ground, the malls started to pop up. Believe it or not, there was a time when there wasn't malls. It was just a local area, neighborhood battery of stores. Where I grew up, it was called the Avenue. You'd go up to the Ave. The Ave had all the stores, small mom and poppers. And that's where you did your business. That's where you bought whatever you had to buy. You didn't go to malls. Then malls started, and the neighborhood stores, small specialty stores, started to occupy these malls. That was the big rave. Indoor complex. You aren't exposed to the elements. So malls popped up. Now actually, malls are dying. They're dying. Here in the South and Southwest, people are going back to the open air strip malls, and they're becoming huge. I mean, we have some huge open air strip malls, and they're doing well, and they're taking away from the enclosed malls, and you're seeing some of the big box department stores faltering and even moving out and closing down specific locations within that big mall because the business isn't there anymore. People are getting tired of getting out of their car, walking a half a mile, then walking a half a mile within the mall to get to the store of their choice. They prefer just driving right up to the front door and getting out of the car and walking right to the store. That's my take of things. When I traveled, I hit every little store, every little nook and cranny, every little town, and then you develop a huge base of small stores. Gives you power as a representative. You have decent line, you work your way up to getting a real nice line. The label is called a line. Like say if you are a Levi rep, you have Levi's as your line. That's who you're repping or selling for. So, and you contact the stores that work with the Levi company and write their orders, show them the new products. You don't see reps that much anymore. It's too expensive to travel on the road. I mean, it's expensive to spend a night, eat your meals, the gasoline. It's an expensive proposition to travel. CC's Lingerie, Mr. Bra. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. All right. No. Okay. Okay. I'll get back to you. All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. Here we are, loop-de-loop. Bras, corsets, girdles, bridal bras, foundation garments. Traveling on the road as a sales rep. Within the 48 states. Or international. In the clothing industry, the big kahuna, the big city is New York City. You want the deals, you go to New York City. That's where you cut all the big deals. That's where all the key manufacturers are. They have to have an office in New York City because all the major operations, retail, wholesale, they go to New York for their deals. Then there's the smaller markets, Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, San Francisco. A market is an area or a show where these manufacturers set up in booths and show their wares out of these booths, or if the market is large enough, they'll have a building devoted to or they'll have a building with offices which will house the representatives who show these lines. Heck of a racket, heck of a game. Very few reps are in a permanent showroom nowadays. That's another added huge expense. Yep, you got to man it, and of course, you attend the shows. You don't have to bring your merchandise, set it up because you have a showroom and the merchandise is already set up, and you show your merchandise out of the showroom during the week for customers to come in and look at it. Major cities. I liked Green Bay. I like Minneapolis, St. Paul. I like Chicago, Madison, Wisconsin. You had Louisville, Lexington, Kentucky, Indianapolis, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. These are all key cities that would have markets that you would attend. Like a 4-day market you would set up and then show your goods, and the people from within that region and in that state would come and see you, and you would work with them. So there's Las Vegas is a big center for the lingerie now. They have a couple of markets each year. So that's a key market for lingerie, for the lingerie industry. Well, we're done for now. Gave you a little lesson, whether you wanted it or not, about sales reps on the road, international, non-international, to my 2,000 subscribers. MrBra.com. Seeing you later. Thanks for nice talking to you. Thanks for your messages. I will get back to you next time. Bye for now.